Okay, so example 3, write an equation given a diameter. So we have to write an equation for each of the circles given, the endpoints of a diameter. And we're given 2 coordinates. So let's have a look at number 1, and then you can have a go at 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so question 1. So we're given a circle, and we're told that our diameter is from 6, 7. So let's say this is 7, 6, and this is minus 1, minus 8. So we need to find the center, the vertex at HK. So we're going to find the vertex, the center, HK. And to do this, we're going to use the midpoint formula. So we need to label, so we call this x1 and x2, y1 and y2. So the formula says that we're going to add our x coordinates together and divide by 2. And then we're going to add our y coordinates together and divide by 2. So if we do that, x1, so we have 7 plus minus 1 divided by 2. And we have 6 plus minus 8 divided by 2. So 7 minus 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our HK coordinates will be at 3. And then 6 minus 8 is minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. So we can say that the coordinate is 3 minus 1 for the center. Now the second thing we need to do, so that's the first part. So I'm just going to highlight these. So these are going to become our x2 and y2 values. So now we need to find the length of this radius. So from the center to our end point at 7, 6. So our x, so we're going to have our x1 value is at 7, and our y value will be at 6. Our x2 is our 3, and our y2 value is our minus 1. So we're going to use these now. We're going to substitute this into the distance formula so you can find the radius. So the radius will be the root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So substituting in the values, so we'll have 3 minus 7 squared and y2 is going to be minus 1 and minus 6 squared. So 3 minus 7 is going to be minus 4 squared, so this is 16. And then minus 1 minus 7, this is 7 minus 7 squared is 49. So if we add these values together, we will have root 65. So squaring both sides, r squared is going to be equal to 65. So now we know our radius for our equation. So now we're going to substitute into the standard form of the equation. So we have x minus h squared, y minus k squared is r squared. So our h value is going to be 3, so it's minus 3 squared. Our y, so our minus k, so it's minus k and k is minus 1, so that's going to be plus 1 squared. and our r squared value is 65. Okay, so question number 2. So this is our x1, x2, y1 and y2. And we need to find the center. So to find the center, or the vertex HK, so we need to use the midpoint formula. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So we have 3 plus 1 divided by 2, and we have minus 3 plus 5 divided by 2. So h and k, 3 plus 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 5 minus 3 is 2 divided by 2 is 1. So our hk values are 2 and 1. Now we're going to use these instead of our x2. So this is going to be x2 and y2. So I'm just going to write these down. So our x1 is 3, our y1 is minus 3, our x2 is 2, and our y2 is 1. And we're going to substitute these into the distance formula. So we can find the distance from the radius to the endpoint. So radius is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus, that should be 2 minus y1 squared. So substituting in the values, so we got x2 is 2 minus 3 squared, y2 is 1, and y1 is minus 3. So 3 minus 1, so that's just going to be 1. And then we have 1 plus 4. So that's going to be squared, so that's plus 16. So our radius is going to be 17. So the radius squared, if that's root 17, will be 17. Now we need to substitute these values. So substitute into the circle formula or circle equation. So we'll have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is r squared. So h is 2, so it's minus 2 because minus h. Y k is 1, but it's minus 1, so it's going to be minus 1 squared, and the radius squared is 17. So there's our equation for our circle. Okay, so let's label for question 3. So x1, x2, y1, y2. So use the midpoint formula. So to find the center HK. So x1, so we've got 4 plus minus 4 divided by 2, and minus 2 plus minus 6 divided by 2. So h and k. So this is going to be 0, and minus 2 minus 6 is minus 8 divided by 2 is minus 4. So our coordinates will be at 0, minus 4. So this is going to be x2 and y2, and then so we'll have x1 is 4, y1 is minus 2, x2 is 0, and y2 is minus 4. And just put those into the distance formula. So we'll have r is equal to 0 minus 4 squared plus minus 4 plus 2 squared. And this is going to be minus 4 squared is 16, and minus 2 squared is 4, so it's plus 4. So this is root 20. So r squared will be 20. So I just substitute into the circle equation, and we will have x squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 20. Okay, and question 4. So x1, x2, y1, y2, and the midpoint, so we'll have minus 1 plus 0 over 2, and we'll have minus 7 plus 0 over 2. So h and k, so this is for our center. This is going to be at 0, minus a half, comma, and this is going to be at minus 3.5. We could also write this as minus 0.5 and minus 3.5. Okay, so distance formula. So this is going to be our x2 and y2. So the radius, so this is going to be minus 0.5 plus 1 squared, and minus 3.5 plus 7 squared. So 1 minus a half is 0.5, and 0.5 squared. So 0.25, and then 3.5 squared is 12.25. So the radius is the root of 12.5. So the radius squared is 12.5. So now we just need to substitute this in to our equation. So substitute into circle equation, and we'll have x plus 0.5 squared plus y plus 3.5 squared is equal to 12.5.